it does. Ian, take it away.
Rich, let's start with the situation surrounding Carson Wentz, who is expected to start for the Indianapolis Colts today, despite spraining both of his ankles, the maximum amount of ankles that you could sprain. He has done it. One high ankle sprain, one low ankle sprain. If you asked me on Wednesday, I would say 0 chance Carson Wentz plays. But then he was actually out there Friday looking pretty good. Ankles were taped up heavily. He now is expected to go, but Brett Hundley called it from the practice squad, probably going to be the backup, and likely get some snaps as well, maybe in a package. We'll keep an eye on Wentz to see how close to 100% he can be. And then you mentioned Dalvin Cook. He's been dealing with an ankle injury, did not practice this week, still listed as questionable and a game-time decision. But, Rich, I am not sensing a lot of optimism at all for Dalvin Cook. If he plays, he is going to be severely limited, which may make you think that Alexander Mattison, the backup, who's also pretty good in his own right, should get the start for the Vikings.
All right, that's Ian Rappaport with some bad news for those who have Dalvin Cook on their fantasy team. And, of course, the whole reality of the Vikings being 0-2. It's now time to say hey to Kay Adams. Kay, your fantasy plays of the day are who?
Okay, we're going to start with a quarterback who is top 5 in fantasy production this season through 2 weeks, and the guy who has more production on the ground than Josh Allen and Kyler Murray. Rich! Daniel Jones! We're doing it. Let's talk about the matchup. It's against Atlanta. No one has given up more fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks than this Falcons team. On paper, this should be a smash spot for fantasy owners wanting to stream the Giants quarterback. I don't know if you have a Joe Burrow. He failed you last week. Maybe you have a Tannehill who's still getting comfortable with Todd Downing in that offensive scheme. Daniel Jones with what he does on the ground with or without Kenny Golladay. Sterling Shepard, look at him. They have a great connection. They'll get it done. All right, let's move on to my wide receiver play of the day, Marquise Brown. Yes, this team runs a lot, but Hollywood's getting it done for fantasy owners. He's averaging a whopping 21.4 fantasy points a week so far. Why? Because he scores touchdowns. Lots of them. 2 so far this season. He was scoring at will going back to the second half last year through the playoffs. I talked to him this week. He was praising the chemistry he has, the trust, the rapport he's got with Lamar Jackson. And lastly, the matchup is the Lions. They gave up 100-yard games to Devontae Adams and Deebo Samuel. Hollywood follows suit, looking at this guy now. Chase Edmonds. Is it a split backfield? Sure. But he's involved in the passing game. Edmonds has 9 catches through 2 games, which I love. No reason he can't grab his first touchdown against Jacksonville. Last week, Mark Ingram, Phillip Lindsay, and David Johnson all scored against this Jaguars defense. He is splitting time, but game script, especially early, should favor this guy running with the ball right now.
All right, Case, from the creative geniuses who brought you the fantasy sleeper segment called Under the Kadar. Now comes a new segment that no doubt created tons of high fives in their cubicles. Is the segment about whether you should bench anybody on your team or play them. And it's called K or Nay. High five. All right. All right.
High five. Who you got? High five. Who you got?
High five. All right. So Saquon has yet to return to his superstar status since coming back from a knee injury.
Yeah.
Do you bench him, K or Nay? K.
I'm going to say, do you bench him? Nay. This is the day for Saquon Barkley. Week 1, we knew they were going to get him into the mix slowly. Then he had a short week, Rich. It was Thursday Night Football. But we did see a promising run that was over 40 yards. That was nice to see, very encouraging. This is the week 3. Why? He had extra days of rest at home against Atlanta. Nice matchup. He gets it done today, Rich. Nay, don't bench him.
So that's a nay. Okay, very good. What about Odell? K or nay?
Okay, I'm going to say, well, this is such an interesting case. Yay-ish on the benching of him. Listen, we haven't seen him since October. Run first offense. Will he play enough? That might be a question. My question is, what is this Chicago defense? Is it week 1 Chicago or week 2 Chicago? Also, Jarvis Landry is out. Rich, Odell Beckham Jr. is going to inherit all of the targets. There might not be many, but what does it take? If he's healthy and he's ready to go, I would fire him up as a wide receiver 3 over the likes of a Marquez Callaway, over a Sammy Watkins, over a Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who plays tonight. So I would say, as a wide receiver 3, I would feel very comfortable rolling out the welcome wagon for Odell.
Well, I just have to say, I totally understand why you said the word yay and yay-ish, but it's not the name of the segment. So what do you say? What do you do with Odell, Kay?
Okay, we're going to say, yes, We are putting him in as a
No.
wide receiver.
What
3
do you
or a
say,
flex,
Kay?
and
What do
you're
you
welcome.
what do you say?
Yay!